You've spent 5 long days of marching and longer nights watching the shadows, with the singular goal of returning to hallowed ground forefront in your minds. You narrowly avoided an encounter with a beast of horror and nightmares, and you all hastened your pace and saw the lights of Braskov shining like a beacon in the distance. However, instead of the warmth of a well-stoked hearth, warm food and fine ale, your welcome return was ruined by a pack of ravenous ghouls. Feral teeth and claws ripping at the sanctuary of Braskov, fueled by primal hate and malice. But despite the weariness and the cold, aching muscles from long days on the road, you charged forward into the fray. Setting about with a savage lethality, you bolstered the defenders and surely turned the tide of battle in favor of the living. Finally stepping inside the gates to safety, it was then that you learned that Braskov had suffered a betrayal. Taking in a family from Varseldorf in a moment of compassion had led to the deaths of several of Braskov's citizens. You learned that the hand behind the knife was no other than Magar, the ousted Bloodmakers, sending assassins into Braskov's midst. And then your concerns grew as you learned that the murders committed within the hallowed ground had caused its influence to wane, and the radiant shield that encompassed the town had diminished, leaving some residents within the gates, but outside of the hallowed ground. Now, with your wounds tended, and finding a moment to breathe, you've all taken 2 days to convalesce. It is midday on the second day of your rest. Where you all now? What you all doing? Who's where? Who's doing what? Are you all in the pub?
I'm
You're
in the
having a
tavern.
spot of lunch down by the river? Having a nice picnic on the docks?
I'm definitely in the pub.
I'm in the pub.
I think once I was done with my conversation with Tavana, then I'd have headed to the pub too.
Yeah, I think the Golden Stag is where it's at, isn't it?
100%.
The Golden Stag is indeed where it's at. Alright, so midday, day 2, you are all sort of crowded around in the Golden Stag. You sitting together, sitting apart? How, are you having lunch together?
Together, I'd hope.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
definitely be in amongst my friends if everyone's there, you know.
I'm sat on my own in the corner, just watching everything with wonder and confusion.
Currently, you all have yourselves a table near the hearth. This time around, sort of near where you usually find Tivana sitting. However, she's absent at the moment. And the Golden Stag has a half-decent lunchtime crowd. You can see the weary faces of the guards from night shift, sort of, finishing their 12 hours, coming in for a few jars and something to eat. And a few other sort of half-familiar faces, people that you've seen wandering around town in having a spot of whatever it is that Victor and Katiana are serving up currently. Which I can tell you is a trout stew.
Ooh.
I would not have put trout in a stew, but then again, I don't live in Braskov. It's a nice trout stew with boiled potatoes. So that's what's on the menu at the moment. And you all have sort of a brief reprieve to catch up. There's no one is bothering you. There seems to be no one paying too much attention. You know that in the last 2 days, the ghoul attacks have stopped. The last one that you appeared upon and dispatched has been the last time that Braskov has been bothered since you've returned. Everything is going pretty swell at the minute for Braskov.
Well, that's cursed.
Almost too well. Having dinner in silence, I see.
Alright, well.
It's good you don't feel forced to talk. If you guys just want to eat your trout stew in silence and get on with stuff, we can do.
Probably do have a bit of a hangover, so just...
You have a severe hangover. A severe hangover.
Yes! Awesome!
You spent many hours Chulan Kutnar rousing almost the entirety of Braskov into the latter half of the first day of rest, in which you had been up for nearly 37 hours at that point, 38 hours, something like that. He was still on a huge bender with the Orc brothers. And when the huge Goliath form of Va'ant had joined, things just took a turn. The drinks got stronger, there was more of them, and the singing went to a cacophonous chorus, which drew almost all of the occupants of Braskov to the Golden Stag.
Good times.
In fact, I would say that... Roll a d20 for me.
Oh no. How bad is this hangover?
Your eyes fall up.
8!
8. You have not made it out of the bar since you got back.
Cool.
You have slept at the table briefly,
Legend.
woken up with a drink in front of you, and continued on.
Drinking to life.
So not much, so much hungover as still a bit pissed.
Still riding the wave.
Still feeling it though. This trout stew's going down well. Nice hot potatoes.
Love a bit of
Soak it up.
boiled fish when I'm hungover.
Yeah, I was going to say, trout stew while hungover makes me ill.
Fucking grim.
Cullen skink of Braskov. I like it.
You see, Torlex like me, like I've already finished my stew and I'm eyeing up everyone else's. Sort of looking over at Leo, kind of pushing his potatoes around like, you gonna eat that?
Nay, I am going to eat those potatoes. Potatoes are required. Slowly but surely.
Well, I know we've all been milling around doing our own thing over the past couple of days, but I definitely have some things to share with the group if anyone's interested in what's been going on with Torlek. Well, I took the crown to Bathlin to kind of get it appraised or valued, and he was like, "Oh, it's just a crown."
Because you didn't sell it as a dwarven wankat? Obviously. What a failure.
It's because you forgot the postcard.
Failure in advertising, that clearly.
I thought we gave that to Kutnar anyway, yeah. Well, he wasn't that impressed, but Rada, the town guard, the dwarf, was there, and it kind of caught her attention, and we basically had a bit of a conversation about it, and she took me around to hers and showed me like her family history genealogy book, because she's descended from Krakovanan, apparently, and apparently the crown, like, it looks very, very similar. She showed me a picture. It looks really similar to the crown being worn by King Izadan of the Krakovanan clan, where she's descended from, which was like, well, it was a long time ago that Krakowanan fell to plague and madness and general duplicity after.
So probably not in the market anymore.
Well, yeah, exactly. His the king's son heard a whisper, and in exchange for basically murdering his father, became king. But then a plague ripped through the whole clan. Many hundreds died, and the rest kind of scattered. Some even tried to, when they were trying to leave the new king Jovidan, he sealed them in. Some of Rada's ancestors managed to escape, but it's a bad place now in Krakowanan, where the ghosts of broken people live, essentially. But
I mean, that describes most of the island.
Yeah.
well, we thought that the crown was maybe 500 years old. According to Rada, Krakowanan fell in 1152 of the old calendar, which is 11 sundown in the new calendar, so just before the purge, 188 years ago. So it's younger than we thought, but it has some pretty serious significance. And she asked me to take it back. She asked if we could take it back, but
Take it back to a bunch of dead people.
take it back to where it belongs. I mean, it's not something that she can do alone, and it would be a very symbolic gesture of laying to rest the horrible things that have happened to her people. I mean,
Well, sure, but I think the living people here might need help a bit more than some
Well-
ghosts.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
That's what I said. So I offered to leave it with her to keep it safe. You know, it's a relic of her people, not of me, not of us. But she declined and just basically asked us to kind of return it to a final resting place when we could. And I promised we would if we could, you know.
Fair enough.
So we still have this crown, but it's wrapped up in a story of woe, essentially.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. I also, you know that way back we found the spell scroll, and we weren't able to identify what it was. Jess had a look at it and said it was abjuration magic, but other than that she couldn't work it out. I took it to Teleki and asked him, and he said it was an enhanced version of the Shield of Faith spell. And kind of when he pointed it out to me, I kind of started to get the similar mechanics, because obviously it's a spell I rely on quite a lot, but it's an interesting version of the spell that affects a 10-foot area rather than just one target, which is pretty useful. I was asking if I could sort of learn to modulate my own spell that way, and we kind of worked out a bit of a training method. So if I basically practice with a mirror for about a dozen or so days, I should be able to augment my own Shield of Faith. If we don't use the scroll in that interim, if I study and practice, I should be able to protect you guys a little bit better after that. But it's going to break a mirror every time, so I went and bought 12 mirrors and hope that the bad luck doesn't stick.
That seems like an unlikely hope in this place.
Yes. And then I went to Kutnar as well, and I paid him what little gold I had left, plus gave him 4 daggers in exchange for my scale mail repairs. He was very generous and accepted. He let me off a gold piece, which is nice. I gave him back his chainmail. I've got my scale mail now, so I'm a little bit more tanky. But he asked me to do a favour for him as well. Something that might be a little bit more urgent. He's made this box, and I'll just put the box on the table. And it's a metal box about the size of a melon. And Kutnar told me that he made this for someone called Grakis. apparently he left Braskov before we arrived in the first place, and he's gone to a place called Druid to try and help the people. Druid is 1 day north on the coast, and it's a small place, but bad things are going on there. Katnar wasn't very specific, but he said that Druid was a broken place and the people there are broken. In fact, Katnar himself believes that it's haunted there. Apparently Gracchus disagreed with that, but still there's something wrong, and apparently he's gone there to try and help, and he commissioned Katnar to make this, whatever this box is, and Katnar asked that we deliver it to Druid, to Gracchus, to help with his efforts. Like I say, it's a day north on the coast, and Katnar vouches for this guy and says that he's a good guy trying to do good and help people. So I think it's something we should definitely look at doing, because there's people in need. That's everything that I managed to go through and do. Like I say, we've been asked to return the crown if we can to a final resting place. We've been asked to take this box to Druid, and hopefully in just under a fortnight I'll be able to shield you a little bit better.
If Druid isn't a druid, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Well,
It looks like we're going to Upland Druid.
well, if we do go to the coast, I know that there's certain nasty lizards that live there that we might need an encounter with at some point.
True.
The other than Tagaran, or are you just saying Tagaran without saying it?
No, I mean Tagaran, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
I know Tagaran, yeah. But obviously we're in a crowded place, so yeah, that's everything that I've been up to. What about the rest of you? I mean, obviously we can tell what you've been up to, Leo.
Mm-hmm.
I got my teeth fixed.
So you did. Look at those pretty ones.
Yay!
Literally pearly whites.
Yeah, it was good actually. I actually managed to catch Poyana just after she was finished with you and just have a few words, and she made me feel better about the loss of her partner, ironically.
Nice of her.
Well, she seems content with where he is and at peace with it as well. Like, it's almost like they're still in touch, you know?
Yeah, I got that impression from her too.
What did Godfrey get into? Because we never really got anywhere.
I think Godfrey probably just spent most of it at the church helping out Father Talagi.
The clerical duties
Yeah.
of the church will have had a comforting familiarity about, possibly reminding you of simpler times.
Yeah, definitely. I guess Godfrey would have sold those 3 short swords you've been lugging around from that we killed some people for.
Ah, you would have gone to see Kutnar.
Yeah.
Yes. Kutnar
And I would have-
will look at the short swords.
Yeah. Okay.
And bring out Kutnar book. What will Kutnar offer?
Knar's trading manual.
Knarr's big book of prices.
Yes, Kutnar looks at the swords. And once again, raises an eyebrow. Where you get these?
Okay, so is he just gonna destroy those then? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he
I'll
will
just-
pay you for them.
Oh, okay.
He's. Well, look at them like. Could not melt these down. Make nails. Or chains. Or something. Mundane.
Seems more useful.
Kutnar will give 40 gold.
I'll take that.
This is
Thank
good.
you.
Bring more.
Okay.
Kill more Nighthawks.
Well,
Bring their bits back to Kutnar to melt. It brings Kutnar great joy.
good to know. And I guess the only other thing I can't. Did we show Father Teleki the cursed tapestry? Or no?
I don't think we ever
No,
did.
you've looked at it once, lost Torlek's shield, and have left it wrapped up.
Okay, then I would have asked him whether or not there was some way to destroy it or anything like that.
Do you want them to end up in said tapestry?
Yeah, I'm not going to show him it. Like, here you go. Oh shit!
Now you're the tapestry.
Yeah, like I dropped the tapestry and he's gone. It's like, oh, what the? No, I'm just going to explain to it about. Ask.
Yeah, Teleki will look this over and say, this is a very strange object. Did you try to remove curse? Trying to remove the curse on it?
I don't have that spell.
Let me,
Once maybe, but not anymore.
No, it is not in my repertoire. Perhaps Tivanas will be able to get rid of the curse.
Okay. I will ask
That
her.
will,
I can ask her as well then.
yeah, perhaps that will go a bit better. Is that where you're going now?
Yeah.
All right. So, since this is we're in a flashback moment now, you will find Tavana in her spot by the fire, rolling the bones, looking down into them. She just sort of wave a hand over at you as you approach. What can I do for you, God? What troubles you this evening?
We came across a cursed tapestry in the Blood Magus's home, and I was wondering if there's a way it could be destroyed. All we've done so far is contain it. And that not without cost.
You've given me a few pieces of quite interesting information. It does not surprise me that the Blood Magus something like this in his home. Can you tell me what's happened to when you incurred this cost?
Well, I didn't look at it myself, but it seems to take things from those that look at it. Like, Torlek lost his shield.
See.
Presumably, if you have nothing to give, it'll take more.
That is usually the way of these things. Yes.
It also seems to have an effect on people just by proximity. Like, it appeals to people's baser instincts.
Yes, it does sound like quite a bad artifact. Did you try to destroy it?
We weren't sure what would happen if we tried to destroy it via mundane means. So we just contained it for now.
Very wise. Would you be able to show it to me? Leave it filled up, though. Do not.
Yes, I suppose. I'm going to cast Bless on us both first.
Oh. And she sort of puts her arms out, like, accept that.
Okay, and then I'll pop off the lead, the lead lid. and shake it out
And it
carefully.
comes out into your hand, still rolled up, and you can see. Oh. Yes, that is quite bad. Quite bad. It's an overwhelming effect. It's not something I've come into contact with personally. But if you leave this with me, perhaps I can look into it, study it, and try and find out if we can get rid of it.
Well, if you think you can withstand its effects, certainly. But I would recommend that you keep it within the case when you're not actively studying it.
I will do this. Thank you for the warning.
Okay.
I'll let you know how I get on.
Then I'll put it back inside the container and fold the lid back down, leave it on the table for her.
Thank you. Is
I
there
think-
anything else?
I think the lid is literally just me squashing a lead thing on top of it because we didn't really get
Yeah.
the proper thing made.
Yeah.
It's like
a bit of flat metal that you've just crimped onto the top.
Yeah, basically, I just squash it on with grip. Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah. I mean, see, she like as you put it on the table, she gets her staff and just sort of moves it to the side of the table with the edge of her staff. Thank you.
I might recommend that someone who knows her best checks in on her regularly to see that there's no change. The only someone who knew her well would notice.
Again, I will do this. Thank you for the warning.
Okay.
I'll make sure that I only have trusted people. It may take some time, though. This is very old, as these types of cursed artifacts usually are. This is pre the Reign of Whispers. Definitely. Back when different gods and devils ruled the heavens. The knowledge of these is lost to time, so it will take time to try and decipher the curse itself that is on it.
Very well. I think it's more likely that you'll come across that than we will. We don't really have the time to research or.
Ancient books are very rare, but if you do happen to come across any in your travels, then please bring them back.
I'm sure Jusail will be keeping an eye out.
Yes.
I'm not one for books, really.
But you are one for traveling to strange places, finding strange things like this.
That's true.
Have you seen or heard anything from the
From the what?
Blood Magus, from Mega?
Alright.
Have you heard anything of his reputation, where he might be?
He's. Oh, God. What was the name of the town he went to?
Vasseldorf. Ah, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the one.
That's the one. It's 4 days south of here.
I think he might be behind the attack that happened recently.
Yes, we thought we found out as much. Questioned the assassin that survived. It would be a great boon to us all here in Braskov if he were dealt with. Because who knows what effect closing the gates and hardening our hearts to those who actually need help will have on us. But then again, we cannot open our gates and accept all. It's It is hard to know what is to do for the best.
Indeed. Something I haven't got the hang of myself yet.
I feel if any of us ever did, then there'd be nothing left to learn. That is no kind of life.
Perhaps.
If you do travel to Varsvoldorf, please be careful. Dangerous. As is anywhere in the islands. It is a small place, but the people there are twisted and bitter. Life is very hard for them, which is why we took pity. And we're so badly burned for it.
I suppose with the right spells, one would be able to detect if someone had been tainted before they were allowed entry. That may be the first step.
It is a good idea. It will take some convincing to open the gates again after this. But it is a step in the right direction.
Okay.
Is there anything else that troubles your mind, Cole?
Nothing new.
The burdens we carry stay with us for a long. But
Forever, I
make your
think.
back and legs very strong. And give you broad shoulders.
Strong or broken. It remains to be seen which.
I have faith in you. You've got very broad shoulders.
It's where all the height went.
Keep the faith.
I'll try.
Concentrate on the good that you have done recently, rather than everything else that has come with it. Concentrate on the light that you've brought, rather than the darkness that surrounds it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You know where to find me if you need it.
I do. And I'll take my leave.
Goodbye. And we will star wipe back to the lunch. Everyone's got their fish and potatoes in front of them. As it goes quiet, you'll hear Victor shout, Do any of you need any more stew? Another round, perhaps?
Sort of Torlek just sort of turns around, just sort of looks at him like, I think you know I want more lunch.
Yes. Katiana will be right over with some more stew for you, yes.
I'll
Thanks,
push my
Victor.
half-eaten bowl of stew across to Torlek.
Not putting them new teeth away.
Look over at him like, would you like something else? Is the fish not to your taste?
No, thank you. I'm just not very hungry.
We have, you should always eat. Keep your strength up. No. It's,
I'll let you know.
every meal is the most important meal of the day. This is what my mother always used to say to me. When you have food in front of you, I can get you some bread and cheese and dried fruit and nuts if you prefer.
Yes, please. That sounds lovely. I say
Well,
just to
wow.
get rid of him.
Yeah.
It's like when you go to your nanas and they're like, no, you have to eat something.
Here, have this quarter of a cake. No, God Christ.
Yeah. 4 feed you 7. It's like, no, Grandma, 7 bacon.
I don't
Stop
know what
it.
you're all complaining about. I love that.
So he rushes into the back and the bowl of steaming fish and potato stew for Torlek and an array of sort of dried fruit and nuts and breads and cheeses on a plate, like a nice ploughman's, which she plops down in front of you for top.
Thank you very
Gives
much.
a broad smile. Like, don't let me interrupt your conversations. Please just pretend I'm not here. And she sort of whips away, empties, and takes them back to the.
Yeah. Torlek hands over his empty bowl and Svitalia's now empty bowl.
Yeah. You see, she
Are you a hobbit?
quite happily takes them all up. She's like, oh, I'm glad someone enjoys this. I was a bit of a risk with the trout, but I think it works quite nice. It's good.
Give it a tour like he'll eat anything.
She smiles at you all again, takes the dishes back to the kitchen. And you can see now that everyone's got sort of food and drink in front of them, Victor is moving from behind the bar and has a small sort of toolbox out and is currently trying to repair some of the chair legs and broken chairs from the frivolous 2 days that he's had in the bar with Leo and the Orc brothers driving up a storm. There's a few bits and pieces have been slightly damaged. Nothing too bad. Nothing that he's going to charge you for. He's sort of working away. See what efficient with his toolbox. And just sort of in the background you hear him going, Gatiana, where is my mallet? Where is my wood mallet? Like I cannot do the woodwork without my mallet. And she's like, it's wherever you left it, you silly man. Have a little
At this point, Giselle is looking up from her book, and she looks vaguely guilty for a second.
Like, what do I hit the chisels with now without my wood mallet? I don't know, use a normal hammer, like an insane person. You cannot, you just hear him grumbling, you cannot chisel with a normal hammer, you need a mallet.
Totally can't chisel with a normal hammer. Did you steal his mallet, Giselle?
Certainly
I did
seems
not
that way.
steal it.
There's an awkward silence there. She definitely has it.
Did you borrow his mallet?
So I did get time to go to Bassner's and acquire a new one, didn't I?
Yes.
Just checking. Okay, good.
I was going to say, I think I've got a hammer as well. But he wants a
Giselle's
proper
gonna-
hammer.
Giselle's going to pop over and cast Mending on the chair that Victor is currently working on, and hopefully that'll distract him until she can just pop the hammer back in his toolbox.
So as he's sort of like looking over his shoulder towards the kitchen and yelling about his mallet, slyly cast Mending on the chair, drop the new mallet into his toolbox quietly.
Oh,
Make the way
makes
back
sense.
to the table as he turns around, he's like, "What?" Looks from the chair leg that's now mended to the toolbox with the mallet in, and back to the chair leg,
Can I make him think he's got dementia?
then back to the toolbox, and then he looks over to you all and goes, "She cannot know about this. Do not tell her that it was right in front of me. I will never hear."
I won't say
He
a
sort
word.
of puts the chair back, picks his toolbox. He's all right. I found it. So, and he,
I think people's wives are just used to that. Certainly every time my dad's looking for something, it turns out to be in the drawer he was looking in. As soon as my mum comes
goes
looking.
out of the rear door to replace the toolbox.
Also, going to sit on the other side of the table from Svitalia and her plate of cheese.
I'm just gonna sort of look at
Um,
Jess expectantly, just like, Well,
Godfrey only notices if you're on the side that has an eye.
So Jess has, while we've all been eating, she's been flicking through and annotating this battered black-bound book that most of you will recognise. We found it in the Bloodmaker's house.
Is that the one that you tried to kill us for?
No, you burned that.
Yeah, we burnt that one. It's not the super bad one. It was the one with
just the mostly evil one.
it's the
Yeah,
Inception
it's
book.
not the one made out of skin that had a tongue for a bookmark. It's not that one.
Okay.
Well, that was my favourite one.
Yeah.
It certainly had an
I
aesthetic.
burned that one. Mm.
I, for one, am disappointed.
High
I
resale
mean,
value.
it was
on
very
that.
unbrand for the Bloodmaker's house.
That's true.
Mm.
Okay, so you have a new evil book instead.
It's not an evil book. It's the book we found with the partially inverted locate object spell that we needed all the bits and bobs for.
Okay.
And you can see, it's been very well read through at this point. The spine is cracked. There's pages folded over. There's little other bits of paper sticking out of it. And Jess explains that she's spent the night studying it. She looks absolutely shattered. She's studied it. She's tried everything she can think of. But as much as it's killing her to admit it, she's not quite there.
Don't worry, Jess, you'll get it.
I'm afraid I can't help much in that department. I've never been one for books.
Same.
Also, same.
Well,
Yeah, there's a lot of spells working together.
I
And
bet
there's-
Torlake reads loads of books. He can probably help.
I was gonna say, Jess,
Nerd. I mean, what?
I was gonna say, Jess. I've not really spoken to you guys too much about my past, but I'm actually a sage by training. So I have the researcher feature, which means if you know what you're missing, I can probably point you in the direction of where that can be found, where that information can be found.
What? You a sage? Surely not.
I don't know if you knew, but I'm actually a sage.
Total flex moment.
Spitalia's impressed.
So Jess kind of pushes the book across the table about a third
No
open.
wonder he likes stew.
And she's
Sage.
pointing out the bit that's missing. All she really knows at this point is it's an illusion spell that's slightly beyond her casting abilities currently.
DM, can I help in any way? Tell her where she needs to look for more information to broaden her understanding, or
Horizons. Is there water stones nearby?
Make an intelligence check as well.
just straight intelligence, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, nat 20 plus 3! Oh!
Kaboom.
Starting off strong!
He really is a sage.
I don't know if you know
Yeah.
this, guys, but I'm actually a
He's not the
sage, and I pretty
Messiah,
much know
he's
everything.
just a stage.
I'm actually kind of sagey.
If Jess stayed up all night, trying to work this out, and you're just like, oh, it's this, she's gonna be so put out.
Will you guys help? Helps immediately. Fuck you. How dare you help me?
No, it won't be
Not that
like
much
Jess. It won't be like Jess. It's this. It'll be like, oh, there's a book that I once heard of that's got this interesting take on illusion magic that you could probably read, and then you'll work it out, and then I'll take credit for it.
Or just like everything else to them.
Ooh.
You don't know of a specific book per se, but you know of a specific type of book
Hardback.
that would be required for this. You would need to recover a wizard's spell book, and you know of a few legendary wizards, but so any powerful wizard's spell book will almost certainly contain the answers that Jess is looking for. Like any standard wizard spell book that you come across should contain at least one, if not all, of the missing bits of this spell.
Okay. Well,
And as you look at it, you can see that what Jess has simplified it down so that it's a very small version of the spell. It's nowhere near as powerful as it is noted down initially in the book. So it's like a very simplified version of it.
It's about the size of a small mallet.
Yeah.
What a coincidence.
Do you know any powerful wizards?
I know one.
I don't know if you know, guys, but I'm actually a powerful wizard. Joke.
Wow. I know one, Godfrey, who just got a whole lot more appealing as a target for my mace. And I have it on good authority, he lives in Varseldorf.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to want to help very much.
I don't think we're going to give him much choice, do you?
I'm not sure how well you can.
I mean, after the hospitality he showed us, I think that's fair.
You know of another one as well.
I know of one as well.
But they're some distance away.
Yeah, I don't know where she is. Haven't seen her for some time. Does she knew where I was? Bloody wizards. Know everything.
Who,
Very
Godfrey? I know you play your cards close to your chest, my friend, but this could be really helpful.
Cecilia. We used to adventure together.
Yeah, when you were really stressed out and struggling mentally, you did actually call Jess Celia a couple of times.
You did.
Oh. Yeah, well, that's a. I would have said that she probably wouldn't help us or help me, but maybe I'm wrong. She did send the runestone. Maybe all's not lost there. But like I say, I don't know where she is now. I haven't seen each other for a long time.
Torlek, the one you know of, is called Hasili Jathai, the resident mage in your hometown.
I mean, then I'm assuming I don't know where she is. She didn't like have a forward and address on the letter she sent, did she?
Nope.
Yeah.
As with wizards, everything was very sparse.
That's what I figured.
Information. She probably thought it was quite obvious, giving you clues and stuff, but wizards are all.
Godfrey's not going to figure out clues. He's just like, yep, this is
far
a
too subtle for their own good. Like, oh, I wrote it on this type of parchment, which is only made from this type of grass, which only grows over this part of the thing. So you must know that I'm over. That's the
Definitely, yeah.
stuff. But it's not that. That was just an example. So don't go.
Well, I wouldn't be volunteering that I know of Hasili Jathai because that whole part of my life is like I've shared a lot of things with my party, but that whole part of my life is something that I'm very protective of. Plus the distance is kind of prohibitive anyway. So I mean, if we rule out Cecilia,
I mean, I guess we were ventured together for a long time. Do I know where she comes from?
Celia.
Yeah.
Mm.
Whether she'd be likely to return there? I know I went home after.
Yes. There is a possibility, though you can never tell. That's what the motivation is. But if you've got the sort of Westerveld, it's a Westerveld map. Celia is from a town on the east, not the east coast, but sort of near the east, in Duskmoor, called Yviscan. Yviscan. It's just to the west of the capital town.
I see it.
Where King Ceolwulf reigned.
Ravensburg. Yeah, Ravensburg.
Ravensburg. That is where King Ceolwulf has his fortress.
Quite a far. It's basically on the other side of the island. Then. Is there?
Where are you all from?
Okay.
I know very little about any of you.
I'm not from around here at all.
I will say from the Salka Vale.
Oh, nice.
I'm from the southern part of the island.
Yeah, I washed up on these shores, so I'll tell you about it sometime.
Oh,
What about you?
So Oosterveld.
Oosterveld.
The Veldt.
Where's that? On the map?
It
It's-
is
In the Veiled Forest.
Okay, so
High in
northwest.
the Sikoli Tozak mountain.
Yeah.
So, at the mention of Oosterweld, that'll prick your ears, Cade. Sitting over there in the corner, lurking, listening.
What a
You
creeper.
know Oosterweld very well. And is it Torlek or is it Godfrey that's got good history?
Yeah, Torlek probably.
Yeah.
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 I have
Torlek.
zero history. No thoughts, head empty.
Did you know I'm actually
you-
really good at history?
You were great at history, shit at the island's history. Yeah,
True that.
true that. So for Cade and for Torlek, you have heard of Oosterweld before. This is a famous, fabled, almost legendary, pulled out town high in the fabled to be the last free silver mine that is not controlled by Ceolwulf. And there is a tale told of that place. And it is the tale of the Night of Silver Rain, where a huge force of thralls and undead was thrown against the gates of Oosterweld. Was 700 of the attackers. Force in the thousands. These ghouls and skeleton dead creatures, strigoi, thralls, all throwing themselves against the gate to try and take down Oosterweld. A defending force of 560 brave ones stood at the walls and rained down silver arrows and silver spears. It was a very bad night for King Ceolwulf and a huge victory for Oosterweld. You know, because of this, it's also called Ceolwulf's Bane to all those that live in the capital towns. And it is the prize that he covets most on the island. And he knows that he cannot take it by force. So it is rumoured that he will try the Lord of Whispers tactic. To take the town. The Ceolwulf's Bane, or Oosterweld, is pretty famous for those that read, or those that have heard bards sing of the Night of the Silver Rain.
Not many bards come past where I live now.
They are few and far between. They are very important. They do carry stories, they carry news, and they carry songs of hope. But they're also very sought after by Nighthawks because you can't have the down having that would be ridiculous. I don't want to keep them cowed.
Roll a hope check.
Not allowed to have hope. Get out with that hope.
I guess we just have to make our own hope with no bards then.
And so, Kate, you also know of that kid. You've also seen the gates,
Yes. I
but
believe
never
I
got
have.
inside.
Right.
During your search.
Yeah. Okay.
So, sorry to rudely interrupt the dialogue. So Svetalia has dropped that bomb.
Right. I just find myself now staring at so I can't pronounce her name. Svetalia.
Svetalia. The one-eyed wonder.
One of the one-eyed wonders.
Yes.
The pristine teeth princess. Well,
How is your sword stored, Svetalia? Does it have it? Is it
Sorry?
your sword
Uh-huh.
carry? Do you have it in like a full scabbard, or do you have it in like
Yeah.
a Witcher style, just like a sword?
Yeah, it's in a full scabbard.
That's probably the best. I thought I'd just ask. For those of you that have adventured with Svetalia, seen her sword.
I was going to say I started taking particular notice of Svetalia, then like observing what she's wearing, what she looks like, and see if I can associate anything that she's got on her to anything I know about the person I'm looking for.
13.
Yeah, 10 plus
You
13.
recognise what she's wearing in some of the iconography that marks her as sort of the figures that you've seen atop the gates. Other than that, no, nothing else sort of fits with what you're looking for.
Right, okay.
Thank God for that.
You don't know me. I'm not
You
the
don't know
Greek-
me.
But that's why I was checking to see what you were, to see if there was anything I recognised I could start
Let's
a
get
conversation
to
with.
know each other better.
Right. Well, I'm not gonna do anything for the time being. I'm just gonna be very
Just gonna
observant.
stare over like a pervert.
Yeah.
Look.
Not like a pervert.
Do I
Right.
notice him staring at me?
Depends if he's on your side with your good eye.
Perception.
Not good. I think it's like 11, maybe.
I think it might be
11.
worse than that because if you've got disadvantage, which you do from your eye, you have to
Oh
minus-
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
it's even
-5.
isn't it? Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I was
So-
13, so 9.
Right, Kate, are you trying to be sly about this, or are you just, you know?
Yeah, because I don't know
Very.
anyone, and I'm like in a completely strange environment. I'm being very apprehensive and trying to do it stealthily.
Alright,
the
make a
sly.
stealth check for us.
Sure thing.
Roll a 1.
Stealth check, stealth check, stealth check.
I add my proficiency to this as well, don't I? 'Cause I'm
If you're proficient in
stealth.
stealth,
Yes,
If
I'm
you are
proficient in
proficient
stealth.
in stealth, then yes. It's your dex plus proficiency.
21.
Booyah.
damn.
Right. So yeah, you're doing it very slyly.
I'm doing my best Aragorn impression then.
Hmm. Yeah, not even Torlex noticed you looking over. Hmm.
Cast fairy fire on him.
So yes, Vitalia has told you all where she used to well.
But only Torlex heard of it.
Only Torlex heard of it.
Torlex currently frozen with a mouthful of fish halfway. Like he's got a spoonful of fish halfway to his mouth.
Who's that?
Just kind of just does a bit of a double take. And then I'm like, I won't sort of let the cat out of the bag because I know we're in a public environment sort of thing, but I'll just sort of, like I say, when I freeze with this spoonful of food halfway to my mouth and then go, you're far
What?
from home.
Must be important if Torlex stopped eating though.
Yeah.
So he gives it away anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very far from home. I came here looking to find somewhere for my family to be safe.
Instead, it seems you found another group of people to be responsible for.
Well, that remains to be seen. I have a long way to bring my family back. I'm not really sure what to do.
Honestly, I'm trying to help someone I love too, and I think the only way the islands will be safe for anyone is if we make them that way. And you certainly seem handy with that fancy sword, so I think between us we stand a chance of doing that, don't you? Give everyone a bit of a smile, you know, half smile. Resume eating stew.
I thought he was just saying Torlek and Svetalia were going to take on the whole world. We can just go home.
We don't need you guys.
Yeah. So what's the plan?
The way I see it is that we've got quite a long to-do list.
Yes.
Torlek's just kind of he's got his spoon in his left hand now while he ruffles for his books and his notes and stuff and his parchments, and he's like he's got his to-do list. He says, well, we have Magar to investigate and the Varsaldorf assassins. We have Kutnar's box to deliver to Jude. We have the Dwarven crown to return. We have unfinished business with Papa, and kind of face hardens at that because, like, I want him. I want revenge on that guy.
Svetalia, do you know, have they told you what the crack is with Papa?
I was just about to ask. Sorry, who is Papa?
Papa is the stunted filth that was spawned from the hags of the Hag's Mire hearing a whisper and being granted the twisted facsimile of a child that they wanted. He's disgusting and evil, parasitic disease infecting this world.
He turns people into ghouls.
Yeah. We ran afoul of him before, traced him back to his cave, managed to stunt his ghoul forming operation, but in the process I nearly died, and a friend of ours did.
Oh.
He was actually Papa. He was taken in by Poyana and Javoy when he was younger, and they tried to raise him good, but his nature won out. Javoy actually said to us that the only solution is to just end his insanity once and for all.
Is he near here? Are you close?
I don't know. We found his lair in a cave in the Stranglethorns. We don't know.
Yeah, it was about, what, a day? 2 days from here, maybe? Or he's probably responsible for those new ghoul creatures that were attacking the town.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, we probably should not leave Braskov without dealing with that problem then, no?
Well, on the way we may even be able to ascertain the fate of Varas, who was Varant's boy, who disappeared in the Stranglethorns. We didn't find any sign of him last time, but we might be able to find something about it this time, I don't know. But then, sort of running my finger down the to-do list, we also have some spell components that we could do with finding, which will be hard to come by. For Jess, of course. We have
We need the spell book first.
to recover a spell book, but if we go after Magar, we might be able to kill two birds with one stone and steal his spell book. It might be useful. And then there's also the issue that Tivana told us that there are Strigoi massing in the break spears. Seems like an attack or a problem waiting to occur. And then finally, I've been in my
box.
We mentioned the box. Yeah. Finally, in my conversations with a few people around town, I picked up that Stisler the hunter, the one who was on the rooftops with shooting arrows during the siege, he encountered something out there in the wilderness that apparently broke him, and now he says he's unable to leave the hallowed ground at all, and that leaves Braskov without a hunter or anyone who can scout the immediate area as well as he can.
Hmm.
What happened to the thing he encountered?
We don't know. They didn't give me any more information.
Could we maybe seek the wisdom of Ivana, or to see which of these is the best to pursue first?
I think we asked her when we originally had the 3 problems, which we still have. And she was basically like, it's up to you.
Oh, okay.
If I had to choose, I would say we either go after Magar to stop him from sending any more assassins and shrinking the hallowed ground anymore, and hopefully secure the spellbook for Jess, or we go and bring some fire to Papa's cave. It's kind of white knuckling the spoon at this point.
I guess my thought would be that Papa's only going to get stronger as he makes more ghouls, while the Magus is kind of just... he's more static, I guess.
Mm.
He has the power
Although we
that
could,
he has, and he
we
probably
could
isn't gonna
potentially
get more.
get something from him that could help us with the Papa
True.
problem.
Maybe. But isn't the ingredients that we need for the spell gonna be like was one of them nice to go and hot?
Yeah, Ice to Garin Heart, Karzalek Bile, and the soul of a Nuknitsa.
I'm not sure we're ready for an Ice Dagoran yet, so I guess we could delay that one, potentially.
Well, there's no sense getting the components for the spell if we can't even cast
Exactly.
the spell.
And it goes off or whatever.
Yeah, the hearts don't last very long.
Yeah.
That being said,
Not that I'm super eager to go back into the woods to fight Papa. It didn't go great last time.
I certainly am. I want some vengeance, and if we choose to go ghoul hunting, well, there's always that fellow, and I'll kind of jerk my head in Cade's general direction, that helped us with our ghoul problem the other day. He might be willing to participate.
Think we'll be able to get any more of that scent concealer stuff, even though it was disgusting.
We could go and ask Varn.
Well, I am at the loss for what to do. My own mission, so I will go where I'm needed.
Well,
Count me in.
if you're looking for somewhere safe for your family, Braskov's taken a big step towards being that place, and if we work together we can make it that oasis, can't we? Help people along the way. What say you, Leo? What's your thoughts?
I think you raised a good point about Papa getting stronger as time goes on. I think it might be wise to not let him amass more ghouls.
That's a valid point.
Because, you know, if he's building a ghoul army back up, I'd rather kill him before he had hordes of ghouls and other creepy things.
I wonder if he's still in the same caves. I mean, it's not like we chased him out of there.
Is it decided?
It seemed to kind of make a home for himself there, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, that would be where I would vote, if that's what we're going to do.
Sounds like this Papa needs to die.
I'm not sure he ever really lived.
Hmm.
Well, then it'll be a mercy, and I'll just sort of drop my spoon in my empty bowl.
Not
How
the
many
spoon.
servings of this have you had now?
You're never going to be able to get out of the tavern.
Glenn, is the stew thick or is it really like sloshy?
It's quite thick because it's got the potatoes in, and looks like it's been cooked for quite a while. So the potatoes have sort of deconstructed into it, which has given it a satisfying thickness.
It's not what you want.
It's very fresh tasting, of herbs. There's
Does it taste of sage by any chance?
cream sauce. No, dill and parsley.
I
the
was
main
picturing like quite
good
spicy,
fish.
because
No, it's trout.
Caribbean
You
cooking
don't put spice on trout.
You also don't usually put it in stew, so.
No.
Got him.
So then, are we decided?
Sounds like we might be.
I think so.
A
Yeah.
return
As you
to the
guys are sort of
Strand?
making your mind up, the door open and close to the stag, and this sort of tatty, brown-haired elven lady, sort of spun work clothes on, and a fat goose waddling along behind us, enters, looks around the bar, and makes eyes with Cade, and walks over to him. And so you can see she's carrying looks like a scrap of parchment. And she gets over to you, Cade. She sort of hands it to you and says, Steesla asked for me to give this to you in in his own way. It seems whatever it is you talk has agitated him. He said this is what you were talking about. As you can see, it's a very poor drawing. Not only because I am a dreadful artist, but there's
Fucking
I'm trying to
hell.
convey is a shake. There's a shakiness going to the drawing.
Oh, I think I get an idea of what it's meant to look like. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that is the blood. That is the creature that cursed him. Don't know what else to say.
It's not
But
much
if you
else.
do intend to go after it, I would. He's very insistent that you do not go. Do not listen to it.
Right.
Do not believe what it says.
Okay.
Just
I fold that up and I put that into a pocket. I think I'm gonna forget that look, that image.
feels that. Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, that is all he asked me to do. Come for this. There, honk from the goose. She sort of turns around, waves at Victor, and walks out the goose style. But as she lingers on the door, she turns around and goes, "He was very insistent. When it asks for help, do not listen to
Oh no.
it.
I
Yeah,
give her a
Torlex's
solemn nod.
Prick up at that, like, oh god.
And she
I notice
door
the
opens
attention
for
that
Fidesz.
statement brings.
Is it a horrible goose?
no, the goose is it's like a very fat, plump goose. Sort of like it's sort of off white, sort of white and grey dappled. Big fat, plump goose. It looks very well fed, but it's well trained.
Like a Canada goose.
Converted, and
Is
it's
it a loose goose? Does it look
It's
limber?
no, it's definitely not a loose goose. It's
It's halfway between a Canada goose and a cartoon goose that ruins towns.
yeah. This goose definitely has an agenda, and it struts out of the door, and she follows behind it, and the door swings closed.
Wees geese are these geese?
You hear a honk outside. Saying, "No, Ferdy, got to go back to the garden." There's another honk. Yeah, she went to go fetch Piana for your broken teeth.
Okie doke.
She is the, for anyone that wants to write down, Selimba. She is one of Braskov's the Fowler's resident fowl. So chicken and waterfowl. Trying to say. Chickens and geese and ducks. Produces eggs for the town. Her and her husband, Bisk, are the Fowlers. They have the chickens and the geese and the ducks. And they produce the eggs. Do you react at all to this, kid, or do you
What, react to what?
to the fact that everyone else reacted to what's happened to you?
Oh yeah, like I'm paying attention to the fact that that Torlik has sort of like peeked up to what I said.
Should I set him on fire, Torlek?
Not just yet.
Boo.
I mean, what's currently the actions of everyone? Are they just like sort of sideways glancing at me at the moment?
No, like fully turned in their chairs.
I can't sideways glance. I only got one eye, so I gotta look straight at you.
Oh yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Then I'll pick up my drink and I'll make my way over and sort of like reintroduce myself as Cade and just greet them
You
all.
fought well in the battle.
Thank you. It was something that's not unfamiliar to myself, especially on the roads that I've travelled. I know of the city that you were from. I have not long passed there myself. I feel like my journey's been going for much longer than what I have been on it. But you seem to be interested in what was passed to me there before. Would you care to see what was shown to us? As I have no qualms with sharing the information, as the task at hand would be hard and difficult to take on my own.
What task would that be?
There is an individual in this town that has been afflicted by some curse, and it resonates with me pretty horrifically. As I'm saying this, I will put the image down so everyone can see it.
Oh.
Oh.
Does this look familiar to anyone?
Godfrey pushes it away from him.
Who pushes it away from themselves?
Godfrey.
Godfrey. So I have limited information on this, but towards the east of this village, of this town, there sits a monster that has afflicted a gentleman in this city, and I felt that no one would help him unless the task was undertaken by myself. He's told me that this is part of the the Black Oaks woods, and it has a name that goes with it, which I'm just trying to recall.
Bloodnick.
The Bloodnick. Does that mean anything to you, or heaven forbid, has anyone encountered this beast?
Oh yes.
Do you have anything you could tell me?
Stay away from it.
Yeah. We met this thing, or one of its kind, on the road. It was trying to beckon us off the path with cries for help in a strange imitation of an anguished human voice, and it certainly looks like that scroll with the antlers, the dead, necrotic face.
Then you did well to ignore its pleas. From what I understand, that is how the curse is inflicted, or the start of said curse. The gentleman that has been afflicted with this only has a month to live. It links back to my further quest in finding a certain individual that I have travelled many, many moons to find, and am yet to find any relevant information that could help. I hear you mentioned this certain individual as well, called Papa.
You're looking
My interest.
for Papa?
I'm looking for anything that is unholy and evil that may acquire individuals that are lost or captured. And from what I heard you describe there, this may be a starting point for me.
Well, he definitely
If you-
captures people.
If you would see fit, I would like to join you on your journey, as this may be a possible avenue for me to get answers that I long for.
Well, anyone who slays ghouls like that, defends the innocent like we saw you do, is okay in my book, but let there be no doubt that when we find Papa, I'm not letting him get away again.
It's not my objective to let anyone as evil as that get away. For anyone that would disrupt and destroy families, and anyone who is just trying to survive in this blighted world, most certainly deserves to die. So if I can join you, all I ask is that before you find the means to strike that killing blow, is to help me seek answers.
It seems like we're all looking for different things, doesn't it?
Indeed. What I gather, you all have just and right individuals. I would be honoured to join your band of people on this journey, if you'd see fit to have me.
I'm just gonna sort of look around everyone else and seeing that there's no one's kind of giving him the stink eye or shaking their heads or anything. I'm just gonna sort of budge up, make room for his chair, you know, make a space
not
around the
object.
table.
I give a curt nod and sit down next to him. Mr. Torlock.
As
So
you
where
do
do we
that,
begin?
I will just butt in a minute just to clarify some. Stiz that told you that he had a month to end the curse. Not that he had a month to live, he had a month to end the curse before the curse was too strong. And it's been too long now. That's what he told you. Yeah, so he was cursed over a month.
Oh, right,
Yes.
okay.
That's what he was getting at.
Yeah, so he's already a gross deer monster.
He's not a gross deer monster, but he basically is losing his mind. He can't sleep because every time he sleeps or closes his eyes, he sees his own death in the most horrific and torturous manner possible. Yeah, let's just put it this way. The guy is fucked up. Massively fucked up. PTSD would be an understatement for this poor guy.
And who is it that's been blighted by this thing?
He's a hunter that lives on the outskirts of the town. And
Yeah.
his name...
Is that the guy you were talking about, Torlek?
Yeah, I heard tell that he had been afflicted by something and couldn't leave the hallowed ground.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
not surprised if he ran into that creature.
So I'm trying to find his name so I can tell you.
Stizzler, mate.
Yeah. Stiz that at sea.
Thank you. Yep. That'd
It's
be
the guy
him,
that it's the guy that Leo began to talk to in the bar when he saw him there, and he turned around with haunted eyes, and Leo went nope and walked away from him.
Fair enough, really.
Would anyone
Yeah, I
have
think-
done anything different?
He'd ventured out to find his brother, and he ventured out with his brother, and came back afflicted and alone.
Yeah, imagine we already met his brother then. What's left of
Oh
him?
no, really?
Well, yeah, that creature basically melts you down and you become part of it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, if he is too far gone, I would say that it is not of urgency, but with all things outside of hallowed ground, it's something that would need to be dealt with at some point.
Well, it followed us most of the way back here.
Oh,
Perhaps we'll
yeah.
see if we leave.
that
In our last night of camping before we actually made the safety of the town, something, probably one of these, what did you call it, Bloodneck,
yes, Bloodneck.
got very close to our camp.
You're saying that is what was behind our tent?
Yeah.
Yes. Jess missed it the first time, so 2 and 2 has finally made 4.
Something with hooves, something that can move in a supernatural manner, because none of us saw anything.
I think we were lucky not to see anything, to be honest.
Sounds like that is the case.
Yeah. Now I
Yes,
understand why you
luckily
wanted to
with
leave so
your-
quickly.
Well, the more we know, the more we can prepare and defend ourselves. As you all know, it's not nice out there. I sort of look down at the drink that I've got, quite sad at the fact that this guy's got no hope. That once again there is the symbol of hopelessness
I mean, we
that
didn't.
I've witnessed.
I don't know what we didn't really know anything about it, did we, Glenn?
No.
No.
No, you felt you felt some sort of effect beginning to
Yeah, we felt what it
creep
tried
in
to do.
over you, but you both were strong of faith and strong of will.
I mean, I suppose it's possible that
High
killing the
table.
creature would end the curse, maybe, but we don't know that for a fact. If the creature can't even be killed,
It's not abundantly clear. I have limited information. This was discovered when I was questioning him about the person I'm looking for.
Mr. Sage, now that you know its name, perhaps you can tell us what book to read it about.
I mean, have
yeah,
I
do you want to
heard
make
of it?
a history check?
History check? Yes, sir.
History check. You may well have read about it.
14.
The name does ring a bell. The name does ring a bell. Not so much about the creature, rather more Bloodnick's curse. It's about as a fairy tale warding told to children in your hometown for them to not go out into the woods at night alone. The Bloodnick will find you. And once it sees you, it will make you see your death every night. And then after the full moon has passed, you will go to it and become part of it. And the Bloodnick will keep you forevermore.
Does he regale us all with that information, or is that just
What a
something you
lovely
recollect
fairy
internally?
tale.
I do regale.
Not really a fairy. It's like a warding thing. Obviously, they sweeten it up a little bit to tell the kids, but that's the distilled version of it.
Well, I'll tell the group about what I can remember, and also infer that staying within the hallowed ground is what's keeping Stizzler from going and amalgamating with this creature.
It's the only thing that prevents the final level of the curse.
So maybe there is still hope. If we kill this thing, there's nothing for him to go and amalgamate with. He can't be consumed by it if he's dead.
That tracks.
And
The
he's been-
fairy
Certainly worth
fairy
a
tale
try.
mention how one could be killed.
I can't recall anything like that, but I do know that he's supposed to go to it at the full moon, and he's been cursed for more than a month, right? So
It could be why it's hanging around near the village.
that's true.
Maybe.
Because wasn't it the full moon when we were at Vesca's?
Nearly, yeah. Because we had to get you your cure by the full moon. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, so the full moon was actually, when you were still in the Hagsmire. Full moon came and went. So you were cutting it fine for Chasel's curse, which she picked up.
I won't implore you to put this as a priority, but we seem to have a stay of execution for this guy whilst he's in the hallowed ground. It may be wise to speak to Ivana to tell her to keep an eye on him and make sure that he doesn't leave the town's grounds by any means.
That's a good idea.
Whilst we're away. Because if anything, it keeps. It sounds really dangerous, this, but it keeps him close. It keeps the monster close for us to do something at our convenience.
True. We may even bump into it on the way to or from.
If we come across it, we could always try to end its miserable existence.
I was to say, if it followed us last time, chances of us running into it again are fairly strong.
The fairy
I mean,
tale. that
There's
I remember-
there's one way of definitely encountering it.
What is that?
We're
To
not
take him
using
with
the
us.
human as bait.
I wasn't going to say it, but I knew it was going to come up at some point.
Godfrey
Well-
doesn't say that. That's just my.
Okay.
Oh, right,
he,
okay.
he, he,
may
he
not
definitely
say
wouldn't.
it,
He wouldn't
we're all
suggest
thinking
that, but I would. Stupid, lawful, good characters.
Bring
Well, yeah, I think at the very least we need to pass the information that we've sort of like gathered between us there, relay it to the right people in the town before we leave or before we do anything else. that would be my only suggestion. Other than that, Papa, can we kill you?
So as you're all sitting at the table and conversing over your cheese and fish stew,
Oh, I left that on my table.
the temperature in the air inside the golden stag drops significantly, as if someone's opened all of the windows and doors. Cold winds blown in. It's kind of drops suddenly. And the candles and the hearth, everything flickers as if there's a wind trying to blow the flames out. You see sort of Victor stops and looks around. Temperature's dropped. The other patrons of the Golden Stag do as well. And then it's as if all noise, all the ambient noise, like fire, dull and quiet. Those of you that have a predilection for the arcane, the hairs begin to rise up on the back of your arms. For a heartbeat, nothing happens, and then echoing distance. This tortured wail echoes through the valley, reverberating against the windows and walls. And it feels as almost it's a wave is washed over Braskov. It dissipates. And then the temperature begins to rise. The candles in the hearth resume their happy flickering, and the warmth is fully returned. And Victor and the other sort of patrons just... Did anybody else hear that? That was strange.
I'm just looking questioningly at Jess, looking kind of worried.
Hey, that wasn't me.
It's probably Torlek's stomach after eating all this fish stew.
Is there a way of knowing which direction it was coming from?
Yeah, make a survival check. If anyone else is trying to work it out, you can do it with advantage.
I think everyone's trying to work it out.
I was going to say, yeah.
Right, yeah. So, one of you can do a survival check.
Who's good at survival?
Actually, I might be proficient in survival.
I think, did we not find out last time that it was me, actually? I've got +4.
You beat mine
That is
+3.
more than me, but I will
You've
help.
got more than me. Let's see. Survival. I have 3, so yeah.
I'll just sort of touch Godfrey on the shoulder and cast guidance on him.
Okay. D4. Roll a 4. Yes, I did. Fucking get it. So 18.
18. Okay, with that, an 18, you learn a couple of things. First, that the sound seems to have emanated from the west. And even though it's been enhanced magically, from the way that it sort of reverberated through the tavern, you can surmise that it was maybe about a day west. This is emanated from. This echoing wail seems to have travelled down through the valley. The epicenter is maybe a day west. Right in the centre of the Stranglethorns,
Awesome.
you would surmise. Yeah, Jess, you have a sickly feeling of thick, necrotic magic that's sort of lingering a little bit on your skin. as if a huge wave of it has just emanated out, washed over you.
Okay, I'm not sure what happened out there, but whatever it is, I think that's made our minds up to where we're going. And I think we should be going sooner rather than later.
I'm ready. Let's go.
What are we waiting for? Scrape of chair legs on.
The world grows harder. That's what that noise was.
All sort of scrape your chairs and stand up with this "do it" attitude. Victor just shakes his head and goes back to minding the bar. And the door of the Golden Stag bursts open, and the small halfling form of Poyana stands in the doorway, looking at you all. Did you all hear that too? You heard him as well?
Yes, we did.
Him?
Yep.
You know who that
Yes,
was,
him.
Poyana?
She just looks at the floor a little bit.
I think we all know who it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we knows. And I knows how much he hurts you last times. So, do you mean to go to him to finish this?
To try.
We have to.
That's the plan.
I think so.
Good.
You know as well as anyone he's beyond help.
It makes me sad, but yes, it is the only ways we tried loves. There is no love in that thing. It's only hates and malice. If you intend to go side, I have some things for you. And she reaches into a little pouch that she has. And she pulls out 5 small vials, maybe 4 inches long, with a thick red liquid glimmering in it. She says, "This I've made these for you. Chavoy, he thought that you would go back up there again, so this time you need these." And she will put them on the table in front of you. This is all I had times to mix.
What is it?
It is healings.
Oh.
She's given you healing potions.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Poyana.
Thanks.
I cannot go with you. End it for us once, please. Make sure he comes back.
We intend to.
Just give her a half smile.
Not very good at goodbyes, so she just turns around, walks off.
Goodbye.
And you see Victor sort of like, he says, "Are you going out? Do you want Katiana to do some pack lunches again? How long will we be going?"
How long will we be going?
How long did it take us last time? A day?
I think it took us.
Yeah, well, it sounded like it was a day away, so like 3 days away.
I thought, didn't we stay there overnight a couple of times on the way there and back? So is it not 2 days there, 2 days back, or did we just get fucked up? So I ended up stopping.
You got you took quite a few rests here and there and everywhere.
Yeah, sorry.
It's almost like someone blew over every bloody opportunity.
Yeah, it
That'd
was.
be great.
It was
Now you know.
time.
Now you know where you're going. Following the mining track, you know that it's just over 8 hours to the. Where did you stop? It's just over 8
Horrible
hours
mine
to
of
the.
death.
It's just over 8 hours to the,
Bad place.
and then it's another couple of hours past that to the cave.
To the what? Oh, there was a.
The ghoul marker, the small area of sort of warded ground
I don't like
where,
that.
where you've made camp by the ghoul.
That'd be brilliant, Victor. Thank you. But literally, the first thing she can put her hands on, we want to leave quick.
Look, all right.
Berries and nuts for me.
Yeah, whisks into the back. You can hear going. Make some packed lunches. He's like, no, there's no time for this woman. Like, oh, but it's just. And you hear some clattering and banging around, and she just comes out with 3 days rations for you all. They're not fancy rations. They are just 3 days. It's like, this is all I could put together in such a short time. Are you sure you can't stay? I'll do you sandwiches and then some cured meats and things. Or do you have to go quickly? I hate sending you off with just fruit and nuts and honey and stuff.
I've lived off worse.
3 days was good to have. Huh?
I happen to
Okay.
love fruit and nuts and honey and stuff. Thank you, Katiana.
Is that like her off-brand cereal, fruit and honey?
That is exactly that is Katiana's homemade granola
Fruit and nuts.
that
and
you've
stuff.
got. It's just you should just give each of you like just a big bag of. Yeah.
Fruit and nuts and stuff.
Just got printed on little burlap pouches. Fruit nuts.
It's got a stag saying they're good.
Yeah.
It's adequate!
Yeah, passable.
Yeah.
Mediocre.
Meager fare.
No added twigs.
They're edible.
What time of day is it now, Glenn? It's like, gotta be like afternoon, right?
Yeah, it's about.
How long have you been eating breakfast stew for God's sake?
Well, we were there at like
portion?
lunchtime, right? And we've been talking
Oh, it was
for like
lunchtime.
2 hours or something, so.
Yeah, yeah.
You find
it's-
Torlek had second breakfast as well.
Second,
it-
third,
yeah,
and
it's
fourth.
sort of.
Plus leftovers.
Oh yeah, as we're kind of heading over to the door, Torlek like picks up a leftover piece of cheese off of Svetalia's plate and starts munching it on the road, you know.
You've got about 5 hours of daylight left.
How many potions did you bring, Glenn?
5.
5.
That's one each, and none for the new guy.
As we begin to make our way out, I'm going to pass my healing to Cade, and say, I saw you get up close and personal with those things quite a lot. I think you'll need this more than me. I much prefer a less direct approach.
I give him a countdown, say your generosity has been noted. If ever you find yourself
Cade
without
will
food,
remember this.
I was going to say, if I just mentioned to him that if you ever find yourself without food or water on this journey, just let me know, as I am proficient in finding all these things.
Just gonna give him a bit of a smile and say, "You be careful what you promise." Just sort of pat my belly.
Hey.
I give a chuckle and I just mumble to him my catchphrase of "Until the dawn."
Yeah.
Are they just regular ones, like Glenn?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. She hasn't had time to make you any fancy ones.
That's fair. Onwards!
Onwards. Do you want to go to see Va'ant or go?
Was he not on the outskirts of town anyway?
He's at the south. Yeah, he's down to. by the river.
Might be worth seeing if he's got any, I suppose.
Yeah, we can swing by, can't we?
Yeah, it's as you make your way down towards Va'ant, the Goliath woodcutter's house. You can see it's by the river as the river winds through town. And you can see the large form of Va'ant sort of standing with his huge wood-cutting axe. Looks like the cry that's echoed down the valley has sort of thrown a few people off. There's a few people sort of talking hushed together, standing together and whispering about what it could be. Others have just sort of, nope, that didn't happen, and they just keep going with their day. But Va'ant is sort of standing there, axe ready. You can see it's the mid-wood chopping. As he sees you all approach, he nods at you all. Where you go? You go to sort this. More ghouls are coming.
Probably.
My axe took many ghouls the other night. Let them come.
We were wondering if you had
brave
any
for
more of
going.
that goop.
He puts his axe down and he goes, Va'ant did make more with bodies. We have had more than one attack the last week. So yes, I have some more. Would you like?
If you're willing to part with it.
Of course, anything. He goes inside of his house and he comes out with this stinking jars of good stink. Yes. Here you go. Has one for each of you.
Cool.
As always. If you
I
go
hold
to
my
the Stranglethorns,
Yeah, it's best not to think about where it comes from.
What does
take
it do?
them. That makes you smell like the ghouls, so they cannot smell you.
Okay.
Hides
Thank
your
you.
scent on the wind. Take the mining track. It is the best way. And please, like last time, keep eye out for Varas. I'm not quite ready to give up hope yet.
We
Of
will.
course.
I will guard the gates with Kitna and Chul until you get back. Yes. Take many heads.
Just give him a little nod.
He just stands there and stares at you all. Nods very slightly.
I'm not
Many
going through the
thanks
door.
again.
You can see the slight nod from Va'ant.
Just a
Leave.
slight nod.
You go.
Yep. By the way, Va'ant's kid is totally where they're getting those half-orc ghouls from. It is definitely dead.
For answered Goliath.
Oh, okay. They have the same names.
It's definitely where they're getting their half Goliath ghouls from.
Yeah. He's definitely dead
Alright,
though.
alright, foreshadowing.
I'm sticking by me prediction that he's 100%. Or well, not maybe not 100% dead, but like a, you know, what do you count ghouls
Has
as?
been dead
Are
at
they,
some point.
Are they 100% dead? And then
However percent ghouls are dead.
he is re-dead.
Yeah, I don't know how long he's been gone, but he's been gone for long enough that bad things have probably happened to him, unfortunately.
And if he's not dead, if he's not dead, he wishes he was.
So you
Oh,
stride out of the south gate. You're going to be well, this is the next thing I was going to ask you is you stride out of the gate, following a path that you have walked several times before, across the Vlata River. As you follow the path up towards Braskoff Bridge, and begin to cross as the day wanes on before you. You reach the other side, and for a moment, Torlek, you have a memory. Look towards the trees.
Oh god. I forgot about this.
But seeing nothing, you continue and turn south and backtrack on the opposite bank of the Vlata River. Following it down as the daylight begins to fade.
I'm just looking.
And the shadows of night creep in. You have a choice. Time you've reached the mining. You know that it's going to be 2 hours in before you reach the ghoul marker, or you can try and find somewhere and camp up now.
How long does this scent stuff last? Is it going to last? If we use it now, is it going to last?
It lasted pretty well with you guys, almost the entirety you were there, but we were getting rained on, and you were sloshing around in the mud, and there was ice flying around all over the place. So, with the gentle breeze and sort of light mist that sort of creeps in the Vlata Valley, it's not raining today. You can ghoul stink up with some certainty that it's going to last a while.
Then we should probably do that and make them try and get as far as possible.
Yeah, my vote is that we head to the ghoul marker. Svetalia, last time we came here, we found that someone had performed some sort of weird consecration on a ghoul. It was strange. It was pegged to the ground with daggers in a weird ritualistic fashion, but its shrieks appeared to keep the other ghouls away. We camped fairly near it, unmolested. If it's still there, it'd be a good place to rest.
Good in like finger quotes.
Yes, it sounds awful.
It is awful.
It's a less shit place to rest. Okay, so as you continue up the old mine track.
Hang on, are we ghouls stinking up?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Let's ghoul up.
Yeah.
You remove the wax seals from the tops of the jars, and the fetid stink of decaying flesh, bile, bodily fluids wafts out of the jars up into your noses. It's almost enough to make you gag on the spot.
How's that hangover, Leah?
Fine, man.
Thick in the back of your throat.
What about Torlek with all his fish soup?
It's sloshing about.
But for most of you, it is a familiar smell, and you are prepared for it. Okay, I'm going to need a Constitution saving throw, please.
Off
Do
me.
you want me to do that as well? This is new to me.
No, because you've been through the Hag's Mine
Okay,
as well,
good.
so you smelled. These guys' noses have had quite an assault. I've been through the Hag's Mire and
Smelled
especially
us.
being into the Feywild. Rest of them, you've smelled something similar. Kid, it's a little bit. It's a little bit much for you, and you do throw up slightly in the back of your mouth as you're trying to apply this stuff.
Get it right in there, rub it in your hair and stuff.
Yeah.
It's thick, viscous, and greasy. It sticks to your clothes. It was a foul feeling. all over any exposed bits of skin that you rub it onto. But after a few moments, you feel it suitably stinked up,
Yeah.
reeking to high heavens. And you follow on up the mine track, of which you've traversed a few times now. Following it up, you can see the banks of mist through the grasping, bleached white, spiked and thorned bushes of the Stranglethorns. For Svetalia and Bobby, if you can't quite remember, the entire forest is dead and bleached, and the branches of the trees like grasp out like spiny, bony fingers with sharp barbs, thorn bushes and briars. Or
Still a forest, yeah?
it's still very much a forest.
Okay, so it's still my favourite terrain.
And as you sort of make your way up the familiar track, heading towards the ghoul, something catches your eye to the right, on one of the trunks, the Stranglethorns. You see it just for a moment, and then it seems to... there's a flicker of movement. Maybe 10 feet to your right. You can see it just as the gloom, dusk is set in finally over the top. You know it's going to be nighttime very soon.
Did anyone else see that? I'll just point.
Huh?
Probably.
I turn and look in the direction.
Just pull the mace out. Like I'm pretty sure I just saw something move over there.
Can I make a perception
I
check?
start to unsheath my sword.
Yeah, you can make a perception check.
Okay.
Two or four
As
legs.
everyone's looking into the tangle of briar bushes and thorns. Cade, you follow where Tola can't quite discern any movement between the petrified forest of thorns and briars, twisted,
Yeah,
grasping limbs and fingers of trees.
Okay.
Do you all stand and look?
Sounds like everyone's stopped.
Yeah.
If Cade kind of if like he doesn't see anything and no one else kind of reacts, like I'm pretty certain I saw something and I'm not taking any chances. So with my shield hand, with my offhand, I just hold my holy symbol and cast Detect Evil and Good.
Alright, just read me the gubbins.
So it's
Can't
like,
remember the wording of that spell, it's quite lengthy.
for the duration, I know if there is an aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 foot of me, as well as where it's located. And I know if there's a place or object within 30 foot of me that has been magically consecrated or desecrated. It gets blocked by a foot of stone, an inch of metal, or a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt.
There's a tiny sort of apple-sized glow on the trunk of one of the dead, petrified trees behind
Evil Robin!
the tangle of briars, thorns. You can get to it unless you look at it. There's definitely getting a sense that that particular spot on the tree has been desecrated.
I'll just point with the mace, like there's something particularly foul just over there on the tree trunk.
Okay. So with me being in my favourite terrain, if I'm navigating or tracking, I remain alert to danger?
Alright. So, Kate, as everyone's looking, you see a flicker of movement behind you in the opposite direction.
And it says, while tracking other creatures, you also learn their exact number, their size, and how long they passed through the area.
I'm not going to give you any of that information, so you can infer from that it ain't a creature.
Okay.
You do see a flicker of movement behind you.
I look to Torla, can I say, you've travelled through here before, do you expect danger is imminent?
Yes.
Okay, everyone gather to me, and I will cast Pass Without Trace.
Ooh.
So with that, do you feel confident enough to continue on?
I'm giving Godfrey the old head jerk and saying, what do you make of that?
So what, the desecrated thing?
Yeah.
So as you've turned back to Godfrey, you can see 3 of the tree trunks spread out behind. There are 3 more spots on the trunks, varying sizes, all kind of circular.
Without the detect evil, is there anything obvious on, like, marked on the tree?
No.
So me looking, it just looks like a tree that he's pointing at.
I'll just sort of gesture. There's 3 more over there. Can I go up to the nearest one?
You can.
Just have a look, you know.
Okay. How close do you want to get to have a look?
Touching distance.
Touchy.
Touching distance.
As my mum used to say, look with your eyes, not with your hands.
Do you
Approach
walk
it
towards? You
stealthily.
don't move entirely off the mine track, but you do sort of move into where you have to stamp down a few of the smaller thorny vines at your feet, and they crunch dryly beneath and sort of snag at your armor and scratch against you a little bit as you towards the tree to get in touching distance. You can see now that this one's just slightly larger than a large orange. This sort of circular glow of sort of desecration, this sort of pulsing red-black glow of desecration on the tree.
A patch on the bark, yeah.
Just looks like a patch on the bark.
Is there?
So you can see where there's a patch of desecration. That is, bark looks smooth.
Is there any tracks around the tree, like something's touched it while it was hiding behind
Make
it?
a survival check. Torlok, you just standing within touching distance.
I'm trying to get a close look.
And I'll guide myself as well.
Nice.
27.
27. You see in the many dozens of ghoul tracks all across the area, but they all look to be 4 days to a week old since the last thing I travelled past here. But it does seem like there's been a lot of ghoul activity in this area. You can see there's maybe 4 dozen individual tracks.
I'm just gonna reach out and just put my hand on the box if it feels any different or different temperature or anything like that.
The secondary patches you spotted, were they there the first time, or they like just appeared?
I only saw them when I turned around to look at you.
Oh, okay. Whatever it is, it doesn't leave traces.
So as you reach out towards the bar, a huge eye opens up in the tree and regards you.
Ah, smash it.
Fuck. Literally, I'm just gonna
Unless it's
Smash it.
Javoy's eye,
I'm,
in which case maybe don't.
Well, it looks like. Does it look like the hag's eyes, basically? Like the same
Yeah.
kind of magic. Yeah, I'm just gonna bash it in with the edge of my shield. Just pop it if I can.
Okay. And a burst of blood flies across your shield. And there's now a huge eye-sized bleeding hole in the bark of
Too
the
soon.
petrified, petrified white tree.
It's just like the Maya were being watched. Let's hope that your
True.
pass without trace will be helpful.
3 feet to the left of you, another eye opens.
I'm doing
begins
the
to
whole
watch you.
stroke across the ear, fuck you gesture in its general direction before going and standing next to Cade.
You can see as you do that, watches you. Well, what are you doing now?
We're just wasting time here.
I was going to say, I suggest we make haste.
Yeah.
This may be
if
a
you know we're
story
here,
of
let's just get moving.
Right on.
Alright, as we
Okay.
walk off past the eyes, I'm just pointing at it, I'm coming for you.
The eye flicks shut on the tree. As you pick up the pace and haste north, west, into the Stranglethorns, deeper and deeper into the forest, higher up, climb up towards the hills and the banks that Stranglethorns are built on, into the mountains, into the Tuzik Mountains. Periodically, you see, as you're making haste, silent as the night, as the mist rolls in now around your ankles. You see eyes periodically popping open and just watching you pass in the trees. Some in the briars. Eyes. They seem to be regarding you with every few steps you take. The eyes follow you in the trees. When you reach the curve in the track, you see the form of the ghoul stuck. Dozens and dozens and dozens of daggers. It's still and unmoving. And the night is getting darker. It's beginning to get harder to see, especially with the mist rolling in. You can see above you that the sky is fairly clear. You can see stars and a waning moon just casting some light down. And you can just about make out the form of unmoving, the huge spear sticking through it, and dozens of daggers.
Does it seem different to before?
It was sort of twitching and moving and groaning the last time you saw it.
Does it still feel like the protection is in place currently? That was there before?
You can spend 10 minutes and cast Detect Magic, see if that shows anything.
Getting darker and darker. Need to either push on or make camp.
It is getting very dark, and as you stop to cast Detect Magic, begin to sort of form the ritual. Eyes in the trees all around you. Focus on Godfrey intently. There's more and more. So you surround what feels like hundreds of eyes as Godfrey focuses to detect magic. And as you let it fly, distant sounds of screams on the wind. The area all around you, Godfrey, lit up with magic. A twisted, perverted form, divination, pours off the hundreds of eyes that stare at you. that is all you see.
Shit.
Can I detect any creatures
Clouds
in
roll
the
in,
vicinity?
and a distant peal of thunder sounds in the valley. A chorus takes up in the distance. Computer went into sleep mode there. Shocking.
So rude.
Harsh commentary on the DM.
It is. That boring, even my computer went to sleep. You can just roll in real life dice if.
I don't have them to hand. That's what I was looking for before. But
What kind of Dungeons and Dragons player are you?
I've hidden them from an 18-month-old, and I've hidden them that well. I'm not sure where I've put them.
You disgust me.
Shocking. Does anyone here not have their dice within an arm's reach of them?
I have about 200 within arm's reach.
Yeah,
Same.
mine are nearby.
My dice are downstairs, so no.
Oh, Adam! Get in the corner with Bobby.
Mine are in the
Sit in
library
your diceless
downstairs.
corner.
In the library.
Oh, you
In the library
as well.
with Corlec.
Did you know I actually own a
Proficient in that,
library?
so that's 13.
I'll still say that it was Papa falling down a well.
Either of you, do you not
Right,
want
let's
to
go before he gets out.
Maybe it was just Papa throwing a walkie-talkie down a well and just he fell down a well.
Is that what he calls these soon-to-be corpses? The walkie-talkies.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Hey.
I was like, a well? That doesn't make sense.
My name's Papa O'Toole and I'm stuck down a well.
Send
I'm falling
Skippy,
for that shit, Papa.
send Skippy the kangaroo after him.
As you
Oh yeah, as we're kind of heading over to the door, Torlek like picks up a leftover piece of cheese off of Svetalia's plate and starts munching it on the road. You know.
You've got about 5 hours of daylight left.
Oh, I could smash some cheese right
As long as no one else has to eat it afterwards.
Just remember, we had cheese on the weekend and there's still some left. Yes!
Outstanding.
Cheese dreams ahoy!